Following a very disappointing North London derby defeat for Tottenham Hotspur against Arsenal, many fans, neutrals and rivals are starting to now question the Australian manager's tactics, game management and displays in recent games. You just got to look back to our previous fixtures. Losses against obviously Arsenal, Newcastle, Fulham, to name just a few this season, which have been bumps in the road. And people who know me and know this channel know I'm a very big supporter of Ange Postecoglou. I want to see him succeed at the football club and be backed by Daniel Levy in the summer. But I can sit here and question certain things that I've seen at the moment that I am not happy with as a fan. So today on the Sonny Talk Spurs YouTube channel, we're going to be exploring the truth about Ange Postecoglou. So many people I've talked to on the channel, rival fans and stuff like that, from Ange's previous clubs, the likes of Celtic, Brisbane Roar, Melbourne Victory, Yokohama F, Marinos, have said that you've got to stick with Ange really. The first season is like his experimental season. You've got to give him the first season because he's sort of finding his feet and seeing what works. And then the second season is where you see a bit of an increase, a bit of an improvement from the squad as a whole. But this season, the similar sort of things seem to keep coming up at Tottenham Hotspur as problems and issues. Before I get into it, there is a bit of a murmurs of Ange outness creeping into the football club, such as what this caller did on TalkSport.
This is facts, right? This is facts. No disrespect to the guy, but I think they should sack him, right? Because he's very stubborn. And I don't know if one of your people there said something about an 8-year-old can spot this, yeah?
That wasn't my people. That was Stuart Pearce, the former England captain and former Manchester City manager.
Okay. So, yeah, he's bang on. And the fact of the matter is he's said in press conferences and etc. he won't change. So if you're not going to change, it's only going to get worse next season. That's the facts. And the first 10 games, everyone's going, we did well. The teams we played, I can remember someone mentioning that we hadn't played anyone at that time. And, it's just got worse. We've gone backwards.
So you reckon, so you don't think he's the answer? So all the positivity that's been surrounding the club, the mood change, the energy that's been at the stadium, the positive feeling that has surrounded Tottenham all season, you ain't having any of that. You think it's all just bluster?
Yeah, because you're getting beat, you're getting hammered, he's getting found out. And do you know what another big factor is? He's never managed in any of the top 4 leagues.
Yeah, but he's a serial champion everywhere else. He's been a champion at Celtic. He's been a champion in Australia. League. I didn't say it was. I said that he has been a champion everywhere else. You're not going to listen. You at some stage, surely a manager has to come from somewhere, has to originate from somewhere, has to have played or managed somewhere else. You don't start and born into the Premier League. You're not born as a Premier League champion. You have to earn that right. He thinks he's earned the right to do that by winning titles elsewhere, and his sight is on winning the title. This is how he thinks he's going to do it. Do you?
But you're not being realistic.
I'm just telling you what he would say. I don't care either way. I'm telling you what he would say if he was here.
It's just what he says. It's just pulling the wool over people's eyes. He's not going to sit there and say, "Do you know what? My tactics are wrong." He's not going to say that. We have to look at the reality of the situation. He's never managed in a top 4 league. That's the bottom line. Doesn't matter how many leagues he's won elsewhere. He's getting found out left, right and centre. And like Stuart Pearce said, like an 8-year-old, and other punters have said it, and he is not going to change.
But I'm now going to tackle some of the issues and problems that are happening in the short term for Ange Postecoglou. And where better to start than set pieces? Set pieces have been a massive issue for Tottenham this season. And it started to creep in around the Manchester City game, I believe. Maybe a little bit before. But the Manchester City game was quite notable because people realised if you bundled in on Vicario and sort of ruffled his feathers, you could win your headers in the box. And Tottenham marked zonally, which I personally don't agree with. I agree with the old-fashioned term of man-marking and, having a presence in your box, which we don't really have defensively or even attackingly at the moment from set pieces and corners. Corners are the biggest issue we seem to have in the short term. And even Ange Postecoglou mentioned in his press conference about how he's going to really deal with that because the press were really probing him on that.
About set pieces in the past, but Can you see maybe more of a trend now over the course of the season, the amount of set-piece goals the team's conceding?
Yeah, no, because it's understanding where you are as a football team, and if I thought fixing defensive set pieces was the answer to us bridging the gap, then I'd put all my time and effort into that. But it's not where we're at. For us, it's about we're not as focused on the details of not just set pieces. A lot of moments in games where we don't sense that you give the good opposition the time and the space to do things, and they're going to hurt you. And I think they maybe had 4 attempts on goal in the first half. They scored 3. So I don't think it's just about one part of it. I think it's a bigger, broader picture than that. But our defensive set pieces for those first 2 were very poor. So, but there's a lot more than that to fix.
What did you make of the performance overall?
I don't know, it's like I said, it's disappointing. The outcome is disappointing. We wanted to win today, so for our supporters, for the club, but we didn't do that. So whatever I think about the performance, it's still the outcome that you kind of sits on you. I think our general football was good, was decent. I think we controlled the game for the most part, but we know that. We know we're a team who can do that. It's about us now, not now, but over the course of time, trying to get from where we are to where we want to get to, and to do that, we're still not, as we're laser focused on the details, the small things that get you from where we are to becoming a team that contends. And credit to Arsenal, they're there now. They're a team that does deal with the details well, and we don't.
What are those details?
Mate, they're thousands. I'm not going to sit here and it's just the little things that. You can't, like I said, you can't give time and space to good opposition, and you can't make decisions or lose focus, on any given moment. So, even the transition goal, we were sort of focused on a decision at the other end when we should have been thinking about the danger that was at the other, potentially the other side.
Another issue that is being highlighted is the way Tottenham are defensively and in their midfield. We did concede 2 goals to Arsenal from a set piece, but the other goal was from a counter-attack where Ben Davies was left isolated by Saka, who easily slotted home. And we know Ange plays with this high line. He's played with this high line all season. There was moments where Arsenal did try to counter us, and Mickey van der Ven mopped it up against Arsenal very, very well. But the game was gone by then, and it didn't really matter. We saw the high line being executed against Chelsea, and how Ange just was going to be playing this style of football, keep going. But what fans, rivals, neutrals have been questioning is, does Ange have a plan B? Does he think, should I sit back? Should I play a different sort of tactic? We've even seen him struggle against teams who play a low block, like West Ham and Wolves, for example. Tottenham can't seem to make the most of their style of play and able to find the killer pass to break these teams down, which becomes frustrating because when we're having a lot of the ball and a lot of the possession and we're not really doing much with it, it becomes an issue. And Arsenal, we saw that yesterday. Again, a lot of the ball, a lot of the possession, a lot of the chances, but we weren't clean cut. Another issue. I've seen issues that, since the beginning of the season, the style of play has dropped off, and I'm not sure why. Because we seem to be able to, we were pressing teams into oblivion, and our midfield were in control. And neither of those things are happening at the moment. But it does make you question certain styles and tactics that Ange Postecoglou is showing. Even our fullbacks, wingbacks. I know we haven't had Destiny Udogie against Arsenal. We didn't have him in the game. But Pedro Porro and him were having joy in most of the early stages of the season, and they haven't really been able to do that. The midfield is quite a mess as well. The midfield I'm not sure what the perfect Tottenham midfield is now. It seems like we're going to have to bring a player in to sort of help that dynamic out. Same with forwards. Are we better off getting a striker, or will a winger actually help? Because it's that killer instinct which is doing us in. And if we did have a player who could get goals in clutch moments, not just Son, we would be able to get this. But there is quite a lot of issues. There's a lot of tweaks. I think they're tweaks. I keep calling them tweaks because I think if we can sort them out, we will be a team who can, really punch above our weight and move on in the Premier League. In no way am I Ange out. I don't think it's viable to be Ange out. I'm not sure who really comes in. We've seen the likes of Antonio Conte and Jose Mourinho struggle at this Tottenham Hotspur team. And Ange Postecoglou is going through a bit of a blip. You know, this is probably the most pressure he's had at the football club. It started very well, and as the season's gone on, it is petering out. We were odds on probably to get Champions League football, but Europa League and maybe lower could be our ceiling this season. And it makes sense. We have had a tricky season when it comes to injury and players going off for international tournaments. But putting that aside, we have had our stronger team lately. A lot of players do seem out of form. So it is quite a tricky situation to know what Ange is going to do to solve these issues. The issues, as I say, they are notable. They are costing us points and in key games. And with our fixture list, how it is towards the end of the season, it's hard to know where we are going to finish up. So, yeah, I'm not really sure how we can solve some of the problems. I think some of the problems are caused by the transfer window and then obviously trying to alter some tactics. But will Ange actually change his way? Or will he be, like some fans say, a bit stubborn? Does he want to keep the way he's playing? Because he's seen it work in different leagues and at the national team in Australia. He knows it's a winning formula. But fans are questioning whether that translates into the Premier League. I think it does. I think this sort of attacking style does work in the Premier League. But when everyone's not in tandem, which I don't think this Tottenham side have been for the last couple of weeks, if not months, then it's not going to work. And it needs all the cogs in the machine to keep going. So, yeah, it's hard to really know about what is the truth of Ange Postecoglou. But I am still a firm believer. I'm backing him. I'm still Ange in. I think questioning his job and future at the club, I don't agree with that at the moment. I feel like he needs to be given more time. I compare him all the time to the jobs that were being done at Liverpool, Arsenal and Manchester City in their first seasons, you know, and they did struggle in patches and they were questioned by pundits and fans alike. But you've got to stick with it. You've got to back this manager and hopefully the form will turn going into next season. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What have you made of Ange Postecoglou recently? His comments about style of play and set pieces. Do you think these problems are short term and will they be resolved in the long term as well? Let me know all your thoughts, as I said, in the comments down below. And if you are new around here, why don't you leave a like on the video? Subscribe to Sonny Talk Spurs. Hit the notification bell because it'll let you know when I've gone live. And also in the link in the description down below, become a member of the channel for just 99p a month and get exclusive access to my podcast, Nice One Sonny. Until the next video, I'll see you guys pretty soon. Ciao.